Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line, talking about the most recent special session of the Tennessee General Assembly. It was all about education, and there was a lot of talk about teacher pay, about testing, and certainly about in-person school. There are two districts now that are still virtual as a result of the pandemic, Memphis and Nashville. And we are joined by Representative Mark White. He's a Republican from Memphis, and he's chairman of the Education Committee in the House. And a good conversation to kind of set things up. And let's just go to the phones now. Let's go to Taylor. Hello, Taylor.
Well, hello, and welcome the guest to your show. Appreciate him coming on tonight.
I agree.
My daughters are through school now, but I was totally involved with them and their PTAs and so forth the entire time they were in public schools. But I've got a few things on my mind about the current situation that is rather bothersome, at least to me, sitting here as a taxpayer only at this time. But that's this, and I think the representative is in a spot that is very important, and I know he's catching it from both sides. My thoughts are this. I think there's a great deal of problem being generated by the teachers union that are the ones that are complaining about each and every section of this. I know and appreciate teachers and the ramifications of all of this, but they're in a profession that they cannot live in or work in a bubble totally protected from this virus. Not wanting them exposed any more than they have to be, but just like these inoculations, the nursing home and assisted living people should already be done, and I don't think they're half done in this state. And that's a population that 34% of the deaths is coming from. Why would a healthy 40-year-old teacher be getting an evacuation before these?
Before a senior
critical.
Citizen, right?
Right. And as far as teachers not wanting to come back until the students are inoculated, well, good Lord, that's going to be forever. And let me say this: the teachers union's own survey, their own survey, says that 36% of the teachers don't want to take the virus inoculations.
Are you talking about, that must be the Nashville survey, I believe. But okay, go ahead, Taylor. All right, finish up. Yeah, what? That's good.
Well, that flies in the face of all these other protections they're so interested in, and that's my main point.
Okay.
These schools. Children it's been proven many times that if they have a bad experience in their classroom 2 years in a row, they are lost forever as far as finishing their education.
All right, let's go to the representative. Thank you, Taylor. So a lot there from Taylor. I'm interested in the 2-year statistic, if that's true. He starts out by saying he thinks the teachers union, he said the problem is the teachers union. I want you to respond to that. I know the teachers union is trying to protect teachers, and teachers have a lot of concerns, and they don't get a lot of money, and this is for some life and death. But that's what Taylor said. I know there are others that may feel that way. What do you think when he says that?
Yeah, you know, I've been in the legislature for 12 years. I remember about, I guess, 9 years ago, because we want everyone to come to the table equally, not just the teachers union. We used to have collective bargaining, and now we have collaborative bargaining, where they can come to the table with their issues, but they can't take us to court every time they disagree with us. But yeah, there's a lot where there's the teacher union positions, and then you've got like I say, they're again all across the spectrum. So that's what we're having to deal with is you're trying to find solutions to what is best for. The way I look at things, I'm going to do what is best for the children first. When I used to teach school as a principal, and I put everything in a hierarchy of order, is that if it's not good for the child, then we don't do it. And then you get the needs of the parents, the needs of the teachers. You've got to have an excellent teacher, and I can't say this enough. And this has been said for those teachers listening out there. In the General Assembly last week, when we went through special session on education, everyone understands how hard the teachers are working, and we'll talk about the pay raise in a minute, and that's why we're pushing that. But everyone's got a position. But bottom line is, you only get a short window when you're young, growing up, and you've got to have the educational skills, especially in reading, up through the 3rd grade, so that you can exist in the world that we live in, and especially to get a job, support yourself and your family, and that's very, very important. So this is not something we can play politics with, and the union may have their position and this group may have their position. The bottom line is, if that individual child is not getting the education they deserve during the time period that they're a child, then we're doing a great wrong.
Is this about to become, I guess, political? Has it already become political? You say we can't play politics with it. Where are we right now?
Yeah, everything's political. It always has been. I'm a big history buff. I read a lot of history, and we think we're in challenging times. It's always been like this. Sometimes it's been a little bit easier than others, but you go back through history, and every generation has been challenged. I like to keep the politics. Everything's. People have philosophical views and political leanings, right and left. But that's what I try to tap down in our committee, is that we don't look at it politically. We look at it what works, what doesn't work. And if you have to compromise, you have to compromise. But there is a certain point that you can't compromise when you're talking about the education of a child.
Let's go to another call here. Let's go to Tiffany. Hello, Tiffany.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
In Davidson County, a lot of the kids live with their grandparents. And we all know the elderly are very vulnerable to COVID. So he says he want to do what's best for the kids. But what about all the kids that live with their grandparents? How is a child going to feel knowing that they could have possibly killed their grandparents?
All right, you're a little muffled, but now are you saying you want the kids to go back to school, or are you saying that would put grandparents at risk if they went back to school for in-person learning?
That would put grandparents at risk. In Davidson County, a lot of the kids live with their grandparents. And so he wants to send the kids back to school, but then they can possibly kill their grandparents. And
as a grandparent, are you navigating virtual school okay? Is that going well?
Yes, I'm navigating virtual school.
Okay. All right, so you want to hold off. You want to eventually go back to in-person, right? You just want it to be safe.
Right, exactly, because I'm a grandparent myself.
And my last thing, when do you think it would be safe? When do you think it would be safe?
I think they should go virtual for the rest of the school year, and then come August, open the schools back up.
Okay, open it back up in August. Okay, well, thank you. That's Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. All right, so you hear Tiffany saying she's from here in Davidson County, that rushing kids back to school puts grandparents who many are watched by their grandparents, puts them at risk. What about Tiffany's concern there?
Yeah, well, that's something we had to take. That's what I said earlier. We had to take that into consideration. One size does not fit all, and so while we're in this pandemic, we do have to listen to that. But the point I was trying to make, there are many parents just like Tiffany who want to remain virtual because of the conditions and the health care concerns she has. There are many parents also who want their children back in school, and so a public school system should offer options for all students and parents and grandparents according to their needs. And so that's something we had to deal with. And that's one thing you have to look at when you look at especially your larger school systems in your urban areas where you have students who live in multi-generational homes and things. She has a very valid point. That's why hopefully we get past this with the vaccines, where maybe the fear is gone. But yeah, that's an issue. You can't overlook it.
All right, we're supposed to go to break, but I want to ask you another question. Then Tony, hang on the line, I'll take your call. Do you think we're entering, and again, as chairman of the Education Committee in the Tennessee House, do you think we're entering a new era where parents, let's say it's 2 years from now, and hopefully coronavirus is a memory, will there still be an option for at-home learning? I mean, have we crossed some threshold where that's going to be something going forward, or does the day come, in your view, everybody's back in person, we stop this virtual learning?
Yeah. I think technology, and I hope it gets better and better. We were thrown into this very, very quickly and had to do the best we can. But as the years go by, eventually the technology will get better and better. It was almost like you're in there with the person. I still think, as humans, we're social creatures, and I think the interaction that we have with each other when we're in the same room with each other, there's where a lot of your education goes on. And so I think in person will always be the best. But know that the technology is here, and I think we should really refine the virtual moving forward, because it's always going to be a part of our educational process. Interesting. All right, we're going to take a break. Tony, others, hold on the line. We will get to your call. There's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Get back right after this.